Good morning, Phoebe. This is Miss Tracy. Just looking at lesson 113, 114. I thought you might need a little bit of extra guidance. So the rest of these, 1 through 10, you got right. You did fine with all of those. But, and your graphing, you did great on your graphing. Good job there. Number 11, it looks like where we are having these rates, you're having some struggle. So I wanted to go ahead and knock that out with you. So Harriet deposited $900 at 8% for 12 years. And I don't know what happened to all of this right in here. I think there was some autocorrect because I was dictating and it sometimes doesn't hear me right. And so it autocorrects what I say. So, but the main point that you needed, 900 at 8% in 12 years, was there. How much total interest was earned in the 12 years? So that's what we're looking for, is the interest, not the total dollar amount. So our formula is going to be AT equals the original amount times the rate of 1, which is going to give us the original amount, times 0.08. And that's for T. And we're going to substitute in these values. So the amount in 12 years is equal to the original amount times 1.8 or 1.8. And the reason we do 1 plus the interest rate is because we know when we multiply anything times 1, it gives us back the original amount. It gives us back itself. It's the identity factor. So if we add that to the 1.08, it's going to give us the interest rate plus the $900 we started with, which is going to, it's going to help us do it all in one step. So we're not going to have to calculate interest and then add it back to the original. It's going to compound it for us. That's why we do it that way. And that time is the same number you put here. And that's your exponent. So PEMDAS tells us, our order of operations says that we need to do the exponent first. So 1.08, we hit my exponent key, and then 12. All right, and I'm going to multiply, that's that bit. I'm going to multiply that times the 900. So times 900. Okay, so this is my total dollar amount that we earned with the interest. But banks, they just chop it off after 2 decimals because this is the dimes and this is the pennies, right? The tens place and the ones place. So they chop it off right here. So all this extra interest that you should be getting actually stays with the bank. All right, they don't pay it. And that's one of the ways they make money. But that's a different story. So this is the amount then that is total after 12 years, including the 900. We don't want to include the 900. We just want to know how much total interest. Total interest, not total balance that's in the account. We just want to know how much interest she earned after 12 years. So we are going to subtract the $900 out of that. And so we get $1,366.35. And that's our answer. $1,366.35. And look over here. This is the format you want to type it in. $sign because it's money, and with or without a comma is fine. But this, you have to put in the change in decimal. All right, and that's how you would solve that problem. All right, let's look at the next one. This says the number of bacteria in the Patreon. It should be Petri dish. I don't know why it auto-corrected Petri dish to patron or whatever it is. But anyway, it quadrupled every hour. So that's times 4. So our rate is 4. And that's going to go what's in right here. So how many bacteria were there in 24 hours if we started with 1,000 at the very beginning, when the original amount, right? That's the 0 right here. So the amount in 24 hours was equal to the original 1,000. The original 1,000 that we started with times the rate of 4 per hour in 24 hours. So we're going to do the exponent first as usual. Let me get my calculator back up. Let me clear this up for us. So 4, exponent key, 24, right? So that's this bit. Now we're going to multiply that times 1,000 times 1,000 equals this. Don't let this confuse you. This is scientific notation on a calculator. When it says E17, that is times 10 to the 17th power is what that means. So you can just take the first three numbers, 2.81 times 10 to the 17, and that's the answer. 2.81 times 10 to the 17. Okay? Easy peasy, you can do this. You just have to understand what it is that you're looking at and not let it confuse you, okay? All right. Those two were not so bad. So let's look at, here's another interest problem. Number 13, same type of thing. The amount, the total time, equals the original amount times 1 plus the percentage rate, and then in that amount of time. All right, so we'll rewrite it. We want what was the total interest? Again, we just want the interest in 11 years. So the amount in 11 years is equal to $700. 1 plus 0.09 was our interest rate, and that's 11 years. All right, so the amount in 11 years is equal to, pull up my calculator. We do this part first. 1 plus 0.09 is 1.09. Hit the exponent key, xy, 11 years. Okay, that's my rate. Times 700 equals, we had $1,806.29. We'll round that up to 30 cents since it's over 5 here. So $1,806.30. But we got to subtract the original 700 because we just want to know what the interest is. So minus 700 is going to be 1106.30. So 1106.30 is the amount of, I'm going to write plus 700 so this equation statement is true. But this is the interest and this is the original. All right, so that's what you would have put in here, is the interest that we earned. All right, moving on. Number 14 was so stinking easy. Let me clear the page. We don't even have to write anything down. So all you needed was your calculator to do this. So it's important to know how your calculator works, and this is why we do this. 3.14, press the exponent key, xy, and then put in the 4 exponent and hit equals. Look at that. And it says to 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 97.2117. Right there. Boom. Clear that. We'll do the next one. 3.14. Press the exponent key. And then the exponent is 2.5. So we press 2.5 equals. That's 17.471. And because this is 5, we rounded it to 3. Okay? So when you stop at a 4th decimal place, if you can round it up, round it up. That'll help. Because it does say to 4 decimal places there. Yeah. So if you can round it, round it. So it's easy. You didn't even have to do anything on paper. You just had to put it in the calculator. All right. Again, this one says 0.25 to the 0.5 exponent. So 0.25, hit the exponent key, and then 0.5 and hit equal. That's not right. 0.25, so I'm just going to make sure you clear it out. Exponent key, 0.5 equal. Oh, that's it. Sorry. So 0.5 was the answer, but it was for 4 decimal places. So you just put 3 zeros at the end. Okay. So that was it. That was all you had to do. All right, so for that one, let's continue. Let's look at the next one you messed up or somehow didn't understand. Yeah, these are a little confusing and they're multi-step, so that's why you didn't quite get this one right. So what we have to do is find the equation of the line that passes through 4, -1 and -1, 4. All right, so 4, -1 and -1, 4. Ooh, a little indigestion there. Sorry about that. So first we have to write our equation of the line, mx plus b, just to remind us of the format. I always like to put that up there. So now we're going to find the slope, which is the m part, okay? So I'm going to take this as 0.1, so -1 over 4, and then everything's minus, and then that's going to be 4 over -1, okay? So we'll do that just to keep it separate. 1 minus 4 is -5. And then 4, that's going to be plus 1, is going to be positive 5. So that's going to be a -1 for our slope. So when we say -1 times x, we get y is -x plus b. So far, you could have written either y equals -1x plus b or -x plus b. Either one is right. All right, so now we figure out what b is, and in order to do that, we have to pick a point and substitute in for y and x. So we're going to do that here. I'm just going to pick the first point because it's the first point. So my y is -1, and my x is 4 plus b. All right, so that is -1, -4 plus b. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and that gives me 3 is equal to b. So now I come over here and I put my b value in, -x plus 3. And that would be the way you would write that equation of the line. Okay, find your slope first, put that in, then pick a point and sub it in for the x and the y once you have found the slope, and you apply that slope to those points. That tells you what the y-intercept is, and in this case it's +3. So is there another one? No, there's not another one, but that's how you do it. It's not super complicated, it's just multiple steps, and so it does get confusing, but that's how you need to work that. Okay, number 17. You made a good attempt. This is going to be distribution, so it's not straight multiplication, right? So what that means is you have 3 plus 2 times the square root of 2 times 3 minus the square root of 2. So 3, you're going to use the rainbow. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times -2 is -3 times the square root of 2. Because we have to pretend there's a -1 right here, okay? Now we take this number and multiply it here. So 2 times 3, that's +6 times the square root of 2. And then this times this. Well, we pretend that -1 and that -2 collide, so it's -2, but then the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 gives us a 2. So -2 times 2 is a -4. So now we have a whole number here, 9 minus 4, that's going to be 5. And then -3 plus 6, because these have the same, we treat it like a variable when they're the same number, the same base. So we treat it like a variable and pretend like that was an x and this was an x, so well, then that'd be 3x, right? But instead, it's 3 times the square root of 2. Because we just took the coefficients and combined them. And that's how we get that answer. Okay? All right, you did good on this one. Simplify. There's an X in there somewhere, and you forgot to put it in your answer. Otherwise, everything else is right. You just forgot the X completely. So I'm not sure what happened if you factored that out, but let's see. I'm going to work it for you. And let's see what we get here. Because it's more to write. So mp squared over x minus z over x squared divided by y over x squared minus 5a over x. All right, so we're going to get common denominators, right? So the common denominator is going to be x squared because we already have an x here. So there's just two x's here. So we're just going to have to multiply this one by another x. So that's going to be mp squared x minus z all over x squared. And same thing here, right? We just have another x. We have two x's here and one x here. So we just have to multiply this one by another x. So this is going to be y minus 5ax all over x squared. All right, now we can do keep it, change it, flip it. So we're going to do mp squared x minus z over x squared. And instead of being divided by this, we're going to flip it and say multiplied by x squared over y minus 5ax. Now, this x squared cancels this x squared. We cannot cancel anything out of the operations, so it just ends up being mp2x minus z over y minus 5ax. So I'm not sure what happened. Maybe you forgot to do the multiplication of this one and you just put it all over x squared. Not sure. But there should have been an x here and an x here. Otherwise, looks like you did it right. Okay, let's look at this last one that you did not do at all. I'm not sure why you did not do this one at all. I'm not going to fuss at you too much. I'm going to just chill. We have never found the area of an octagon before, but I gave you the formula within the problem to do so. So the area of an octagon equals 4.8284 times a squared, where a is the length of one side. So the length of one side is 5 feet. So the area of this octagon would have been 4.8284 times 5 times 5 is 25. Right? So then we just have to pull up our calculator. And we say 4.8284 times 25 is 120.71. So the area of the octagon was 120.71 feet squared. Right? And that was the area of the base. This blank right here. It looks a little wonky on here because it's a surface area blank and then it puts the answer below. So the blank that goes with the area of the base is actually here and the answer is here. And then the volume, the blank is here and the answer is here. I wish it would do a little bit better job of putting it in order, but that's just the way it works. So that was the area of the base. We know for surface area that we have two of those, a top and a bottom, right? So 2 times 120.71 would give us the top and the bottom. And so then we know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides because it's an octagon. So 8 sides times, and they're 5 foot tall by 5 foot wide, right? They're 5 foot wide on the sides and 5 foot tall. So 5 times 5, that's just a square. That's all that is on the side, 5 by 5. So 25 is going to be each side. So 8 times the 25, because we have 8 sides. And that's going to equal our sides. Right? So it's just a little thought process, just a little logic you had to go through. So when we do that, we get 8 times 25 is 200. So 200 for that. And then 2 times that, 2 times 120.71 equals, plus the 200 around the sides, 44142. So the surface area equals 441.42 feet squared. Okay, so that was that. Now we needed volume. So for volume, we just have the area of the base times the height. So we just went back up here to the area of the base and we said 120.71 times, and the height was 5 feet, so times 5. So when we clear this, 120.71 times 5 is 603.55. So 603.55, and we know because it's volume, it's cubed, because we have 3 dimensions. We have length, width, and height. So 3 dimensions. All right, that was the way we would have solved this one. All right, sweetheart, go back and redo this, because you're smarter than a F on this lesson. I know you are capable of doing better, and I expect better out of you because you can do it. So if you need if you have any other questions or you're stuck with anything else, please let me know. It is my pleasure to help you, and I'll do it just as quickly as I can. But I thought you just needed a little extra guidance on this because it looked like you got to a certain point and you got stuck and maybe overwhelmed, and I just wanted to help you through that. All right, I will see you Thursday. Have a good rest of the week.